Okay, so good evening. So today we are going to start with moving to another part of our work front end concept. That is what using of the JavaScript in a website. We want to see how important is the JavaScript to most of the website we are designing. And before I will go to that, I want us to review our last work website we have been working on so far. That's our Danjuma cow market here now. So on this particular one, Danjuma cow market, let's review every information we have there so far now. So start from the from our index page. So here is the site we have designed. Okay, still loading on the through the okay, good. So now from what we okay, so from what you have here now, we're able to see how we can be able to implement the HTML to design this our website here now. So this is what we have. And at the same time, how we add the CSS to this page. Is it our website? Okay, let me check the folder. Maybe I've missed it off from Danjuma cow market. Okay, Danjuma cow market. Is it this page? Okay, let me try and preview. Let me confirm this page we are opening again. File, open folder. Okay, online. Okay, here's the folder. Select the folder now. Okay, so I think it's the same folder now. So preview the index page again. So I open the index page. So let me preview the index page using File Explorer. Still loading. Okay, okay, yeah. I think the same. Good. So this is what we have done before so far. When we see how you can be able to implement the JavaScript or what on our website in order to make the site to be what to be more attractive. But there are some areas whereby when we add the CSS to this site, but there's some area on this particular site that require what a JavaScript functionality. Like for example now, look at the first one on the top left corner now when they say product search. If I type a product here now, the product I want to search for here now, you get it now, and I press enter key, there's nothing will happen on this particular page. That is what that is a number one issue here now. Nothing happen as far as this page is concerned. The second thing is that when I scroll down to the page again, I click on something like Edo breed cow here. I see detail of this particular cow, you can see, and I will now return to add this product to the cart again. I can see the product on the cart page here. You get it now. There should be something like a functionality like a calculation that must be able to do here, that if a user can increase this particular product from quantity to 2 to 3 now, the price here suppose to to change. The total here suppose to have changed. That is, system suppose to automatically multiply the quantity with with the price. And on getting here, total should change here. But as you see this one now, total is not changing simply because there is no functionality for it. It is not the job of HTML because we only use HTML for this structure. It is not the job of CSS because you use CSS to change the appearance of this site. It is the job of the JavaScript to be able to carry out such a calculation. And that's why they say JavaScript make a site to become responsive, interactive. Interactive is something like I put 3 here and the total price here change. That system is interacting with us. So to make our site to be interactive, we need to add the JavaScript functionality to that particular site. We need to write some JavaScript script that can be able to make a site to be more interactive. One of the area we need the JavaScript is this product cart, so that we can see how JavaScript can be used to perform the multiplication or any type of calculation. And at the same time, all the product I have there, the JavaScript should capable of doing of compute the total amount of everything together. And even though deduct any value I want to deduct again. And another part of where we need JavaScript is that when I click on checkout button here, system take me to what? To this particular what? Customer information. And on this customer information here now, I'm going to fill the information about the customer like first name, other name, and even though the most important is what? Address here. Assuming I did not fill the address here, I now click on pay now. You see, system still go and say confirm payment. The system not supposed to work to continue moving to another page when I click on pay now if I did not fill in the address, because there are some information that are very important here. A JavaScript will help us to be able to make sure that we validate this particular page. Validation is to make sure that all the necessary information is being put in on a form before a page can move to the next page. So we have to validate that is there any address here? Is the information of the surname spelled correctly? Is email available? And so on like that. So we need most of this information here. So JavaScript can help us to do the validation. And even though whether somebody pick a value here, JavaScript can help us. So when you now click on pay now, so system can now complete the payment processing. And if you look at this page, I did not apply the CSS to this page. That's why it look different. So we are going to see how JavaScript can be used for the calculation, and at the same time again, this particular session for this contact us, JavaScript should also be using here again. Because when I click on submit on contact us page again, system did not responding. Do you get it now? And system should be able to tell me that when I click on submit without filling this information, it should tell me some information I'm not filling. Even though when I fill the information, I click on submit, there should be a response from the system that your data have been successfully submitted. So these are what the site we created so far is lacking, and that is exactly what we want to do to see how JavaScript can be used to be able to implement this particular functionality. Now, I'm now return to the JavaScript here now. This is where our slide now we start from. So we are going to look at what the JavaScript is and how you can be able to have JavaScript to our website. And here is something we are going to understand here now, because at the end of this particular JavaScript, you will understand what we mean by scripting, and at the same time how we can be able to implement a JavaScript on our web pages. Also, we are going to understand what the variable is all about and the operator is all about, and what are the importance of using them in the JavaScript. And also we are going to look at what we mean by conditional construct. These are some of the concepts in JavaScript that you to implement a decision making. Like you want to design a login page. So without the conditional control, a login page cannot be implemented on any website. And we are going to look at the loop construct. A loop construct can be used to display several information at a go. Instead of you to write a HTML code that will keep repeating the same tag on different line, a loop can automatically allow such a tag or code to be automatically repeated itself. Another important of using the loop is that you want somebody to log in on your website and you want to give the person 3 attempt. For person to keep logging in until 3 times, a loop can be implementing for that particular concept too. So after that again, we are now looking at what we mean by a function in JavaScript. When we talking of function in JavaScript, a function is referred to as some of the JavaScript code that are already written and already available for us to use. There are some complex code in JavaScript that can use to perform a different type of the task. Those particular code are referred to as function. They are part of what we call a JavaScript or a library files, a library code that only use a lot. Most of JavaScript developer, they use a lot of JavaScript function to perform a different type of the task, while the code they are going to write on their own are very little. We are going to see how to use some of those inbuilt or built-in JavaScript, and you can also see how to use built-in function, and we are still going to see how to use our own how to define our own function too and use it. And lastly, we are looking at the JavaScript object. JavaScript object refer to the most important part of the JavaScript, because every code we are written in JavaScript is referred to as object. So JavaScript treats every HTML element as well as object. When we call HTML element a tag in HTML, good, but when we refer to the JavaScript, the same HTML element is no longer element again or tag. It is being referred to as well as JavaScript simply because in JavaScript object concept, every object have what we call function or method that can make object perform a specific task. Like for example now, if I say a car is an object, it mean a car can move. That is the function what car can does. So JavaScript mean that it has some object for us to use, and those objects already have some function, some operation they do. So when you take advantage of the JavaScript object, you'll be able to use the method or function that belong to that object to perform a different type of the task. Like for example now, I want to write a program that go to return the square root of a number. I can use a JavaScript object called mass object, because that mass object have a different type of the method for different type of mathematical operation. So that means you don't need to start cracking your brain on some formula to perform some task. Some of those formula is already written as a method in different type of the object. We will see how that one can be used. Now, when we now come to JavaScript now, we say JavaScript refer to as a block of code that must always be incorporated into a web page in order to make a web page to become dynamic and interactive. With the JavaScript in your website, many page can changing automatically. You can move a particular element from one section of your page to the another. And you can also use the JavaScript code to make sure most of these elements are changed dynamically. You don't need to go to HTML code before you change the content of particular information. JavaScript can make sure that particular element content of it change dynamically too. So, but there are two type of JavaScript. The first one is referred to as a client-side JavaScript, and we also have a server-side JavaScript. Because when you are writing the JavaScripting code, we have to understand the difference between this particular two. A client-side JavaScript, these are the one that is responsible for for implementing a validation of a form on a client side, simply because a client-side JavaScript run on the client side and is mainly used for for performing a data validation of a form, and at the same time carry out some calculation like mathematical calculation, addition, subtraction and some complex mathematical operation that need to run on the on the front end of your web page, or on the run on the client machine. You cannot use a client-side JavaScript to implement a functionality that require submit record to database or calling an email. Those kind of function can be done by using a server-side JavaScript. So server-side JavaScript is highly secure simply because it does not run on a client machine. It only run on the on the server. That's why that particular JavaScript code you write on the server will work for database simply because database only run on the server. It also work for email because email run on the server. So every server-side script you write dey run on the on a web server. So we are going to focus on the on the client side JavaScript, because that is the script a front-end developer must understand how to use it in order to make your front-end of your website become dynamic and interactive. But for the server-side JavaScript, these are the people that learning a back-end functionality for any website dey only deal with. Some of the example of the client-side JavaScript are referring to as one, a JavaScript itself. And apart from JavaScript, we have what we call a VB script. Apart from VB script, we also have what we call a React. We have Angular, we have Vue.js, and we also have a Node.js. Node.js is one of the JavaScript code that can be used as a client side. You can also use it as well as a server side. Even though PHP is one of the example of the server side scripting. Apart from PHP that refer to as server side scripting, Node.js also serve as well as a server side scripting. So we are now looking at the benefit we can derive from JavaScript. One of the benefit of JavaScript is what we refer to as JavaScript can help us to handle an event. Event is a concept that determine activity what the user perform on a particular application, and what system must do when a user carry out some particular activity. Like for example now, some of those activity user perform is by moving to different section of a page or by clicking on any object on your website. So when you are carrying out that particular one, we refer to those activity as as event. When user move a mouse to a any section of the web page, that is one event. When user click on a button on his web page, that's another event. Even though when the user move a mouse, maybe I move a mouse now over this particular Google map, that's another event. Do you get now? There are different type of event that can happen on a website. So if you want to handle most of this particular event and you want JavaScript to perform some functionality, you have to track those event. So tracking event make JavaScript to become more interactive. Like for example now, event can be created whereby when I move my mouse over this particular cow, you want this cow to make a sound, moo, it's possible. That's one event. But the mouse, if the mouse is not moving over it, that event will not happen. So that's why they say event is one of the benefit of using a JavaScript in HTML page. Another important of it is JavaScript can be used to gather the information about the browser we are using. We want to know the version of the browser somebody is using to access your website, or want to know the operating system the browser that accessing your website is also using. JavaScript can be able to perform those. So in this case again, we want to see how you can now implement the JavaScript on this website now. And to implement the JavaScript on our website now, so we have to understand that JavaScript is a client-side scripting language. And I say that this scripting language is only run on a client machine. So if you are adding JavaScript to your HTML page, you will need to add the JavaScript code inside the script tag, and that script tag must be put inside the head section, or you put in the body section. That is it. So, and also you can also write the JavaScript code as an external file. But when we are writing JavaScript code as an external file, we have to save that file as .js. That's to show it's a JavaScript file. Now, let's now go into detail of it. When JavaScript go to be added to an HTML pages, there are two ways we can add the JavaScript to HTML page. It can be added to the head section. It can also be added to the a body section. So if you're adding JavaScript to the head section, there's a task it perform. The one you add to the body section also perform different tasks. Any JavaScript you add to the head section, this JavaScript is going to execute in response to an action performed by the user, or in response to event that is occur through the user action. That is when the JavaScript in the head section will execute. So once you write your JavaScript on the head section, it won't run until maybe you say users should click on a button, or users will move a mouse over the image, or users will move a mouse over any object. That is when the JavaScript that written on the head will execute. But the one that is written on the body section, once you load that particular page, that JavaScript that is putting on the body section is going to execute. But whether you are adding JavaScript to the head section or to the body section, the JavaScript you want to add to any of those sections must be written inside the script tag, like the example we have here now. You have to declare a script tag, and after you declare the script tag, you specify type. After type equal to text class JavaScript, and you remember to close the script tag. So your JavaScript statement can now be written inside that particular tag. Now, let's see how to add the JavaScript to our web page now. The site we are working on previously is still the same time we are going to continue to work on now, which is the Danjuma Cow Market. We are going to make a duplicate for this particular site now, so that I can rename it for the JavaScript again. So here is a copy now. So I'll just rename this file and call it CSS underscore JS now. So this one showing that the site we are working on now, it already have the HTML. Oh God, it already have the HTML, and also they also CSS there now, and we are adding what the JavaScript to it. So I will now open this particular page for update now. I have to close the first one I opened before here so that I can be able to open the new one now. I click on file and now say open the folder. So I return to where the file is saved. You can see this one for JS now. That's how I'm going to open. So apart from that, I already have some pages open here now. So okay. Okay, so okay, good. So I close this one here now. So now the next one now is let me preview the page. So I want to work on this page now, which is index page. So I will save the index page again as underscore JS because I want to use indexes to implement the first part of how JavaScript can be added to our website underscore JS. Okay. Okay. So I want us to see how to add the JavaScript to our web page. And remember we said that one, we want to see the first one here, the JavaScript that add to the body section. Now, I can return back to this page again. Here is my body section here now. JavaScript can be added to any part of your body section, whether at the beginning or at the end. So I'm adding JavaScript to the body section. I open my tag. I can now type the script tag here now. After script tag, don't forget I need to specify the type to specify the JavaScript type. Then it will be test/1 JavaScript here now. Okay, and I close this tag here. Good. So here now is a JavaScript I'm adding to this page. So let me put a comment here now. So this type of JavaScript that you have to inside your HTML page, there are two names for it. It's either they call it what? Internal or embedded JavaScript. That is it. So the JavaScript you write directly inside the HTML page, internal embedded JavaScript. So I want the JavaScript to return a pop-up message when this page is load. So I can now use this particular one object instruction of JavaScript statement. This object I'm using here is called window. This window in JavaScript is referred to a browser. The browser we use here now. That's what this particular window will represent. So I'll say window dot what alert. Alert here means when the window wall browser is called up on this page, system should display a message on that browser and that alert message. This message is going to be something like this. Welcome to JavaScript. You get it now? And that's it. And one more rule, JavaScript must end with semicolon. That is it. It must end with semicolon. So this instruction here is that one. I'm using this window.alert to display this message as the page is load. So you notice that the moment I save this page and I preview this particular page again, before system is going to display any message, it will first display the information inside this particular one, window.alert here now. Okay, can you see now? Welcome to JavaScript. That's why I say that once the page is load, any JavaScript code you put inside your wall, your body section will execute. System now execute this JavaScript again here and using alert. And then I click on what? OK. It now display the remaining content of the website. That is how this particular JavaScript will work. So if you want any JavaScript to execute when the page load, you use this. There are many websites that when you want to call that particular website, they will first ask you that well, do one or two things before you can be able to say the remaining content of that pages. That is the use of the simple the JavaScript for window.alert. But the second place you can put JavaScript is in the head section, which I want to do now. So I'll copy this code and I will now return to the head section here now. And then I'm also adding the same JavaScript code there. But since the JavaScript code in the head section is the one that I'm going to execute once the page is load, you have to define that code by giving it a name. So you define the name for that JavaScript by using a keyword called what? Function. And now call it get what? Hello. I say get welcome. Get welcome. Okay. So open and close braces. Then you can now open and close this one here now. Okay. Undo again. Look at it now. After the open and close bracket here, you press enter key. Now open this. Can you see now? Then you will now write the same code, which is what? Window dot alert. I open and close bracket and say what? Oh, this is Java. This is JavaScript magic. You get it now? And I end it with semicolon. Can you see now? You see, this window dot alert mean when this code is execute, system should display window dot alert. Maybe I want to write another message again. I can come there and now say, well, how are you doing today? Do you get it now? I can use this instruction. I call it slash n like this. This slash n mean when system display this is JavaScript magic on the first line, how are you doing today should be on the second word line. And even though this I now, I say slash what? Slash n, it will be 3 line. That means this information go to display on 3 different word line. Do you get it now? That is what this particular code here word does as you see it like this. I want system to return a message when this particular code is called. Who is it? By this time, I check quickly. I won't give anybody. That's of me. Okay. Sorry guys. Okay, so with this one now, I've write the JavaScript that is inside this particular head section. And we said that for this, hello sir, please guys, there's something I need to attend to. Just give me just like just 5 minutes, please. I will join. Okay, please. Okay. So can you see my screen now? Okay, good. So from what I was explaining before, we are talking about the how to add the JavaScript code to the head section of the wall of the page, because we said that this particular code is the one that going to be executed in a response to to the user action. So and to implement that again, that's why I'm adding this particular code to this head section here now. It must be inside the head section. And I said that when you are writing that JavaScript code, you must give it a name. The name we give to that JavaScript code is, we call it what? Get welcome. We give it a name by using a function keyword. And this is the task which you want that particular code to carry out. It means this name, get welcome, will display this a pop-up message. Hi, this is a JavaScript magic. And after the now display, how are you doing today? So that is what the instruction to do. You see this instruction here, slash n mean after system display the I, it will move to the next line and display this is JavaScript magic. After that, it will move to the next line to display how are you doing too. So that means this go to appear in 3 different word lines. Now, how can this particular code will be triggered by the user? Because say this code go to trigger by the user. So we will now return back. For example now, if I save this page again, you see that JavaScript is not going to execute this code that say hi, this is a JavaScript. It will only execute the first one that say welcome to JavaScript. Can you see? When I click on OK, you will not see the second code being executed. For that code to execute, there will be something we want user to do. Maybe for example now, I want to do something like what? When the user move the mouse over this particular picture, this is the what? This logo here that say what? Healthy cow make a good milk. I want that pop-up message to what? Appear. Do you get it now? Then I can now go to the HTML code where that particular picture for that cow is. This is where we have the picture for the cow now. Do you get it now? I can now add the word, what we call the event to it. Event I'm going to have will be something like this. I will say what? On mouse over. That means on mouse over. Okay, like this. You see, when I say on mouse over, system expecting what do you want me to do? On mouse over here is the event that when the mouse is over this image, the system should execute a JavaScript code. The JavaScript code I want system to execute is this code that is we write here, which is this JavaScript. And what is the name of that JavaScript code? It is get welcome. So I'll just copy this name of this JavaScript code there. I'll now go and put it inside the brace for this on mouse over here. I'll paste it there and with semicolon. That is it. So this one here mean that what? Anytime the mouse is over this particular image, system should execute this code. So now I save this particular code again and I return to this place. You see the first pop-up still come up. When I click on OK, can you see the second one now? Do you get it now? That means the second one too also will execute, and they're on 3 different lines. If I want it to be on one line, there's no need for me to do what? Can you see it again? When mouse is over this again, you can see again, each time the mouse is over this one, this is what I'm going to what? To happen again. But sometimes I can make this one here because I want to do something like, but mouse over here now can make somebody to what? To get frustrated. But that's the event. I can also say on click. But what I want to do now is this. Anytime the user move over any of this image, I want to change the word, the concept here. The concept is going to be that what? When the user move on the image, I'm changing the JavaScript code to what? To get what? Or order. I see what? Get what? Order. Get order now. That's what this one is. And I want the message here to show something like what? Hi, message like what? The new order for our cows, our cow, our cow are not available now. Are not available now. Can you see now? And now say what? Check back in 2 days time. Now see what? Check back in 2 days. Check back in 2 days. You can see another message now. I want something like what? Anytime user move the mouse over this particular wall or this product here, are you getting it now? System should return that particular message. So what I will just do now is return it to my HTML code again. You know I've changed the get order. I will now apply that particular event. Instead of apply it to this particular cow now, I will apply it to what? To this word get order here. Sorry, I will apply it to the what? To the table that I used to create those products. This is the product table. This is the table that hold all the products. So, and the table is this table here. Yeah, this table that hold all the product. I can now apply that one on mouse over to that table. Can you see now? But the name now is what? Get order now. It's not welcome again. Get order now. Can you see now? So this one mean that what? Once this particular page is being called again like this, you can see now. Because my mouse is on this, anytime my mouse is on this particular product, that's what I'm going to see. The reason why this key coming up is that what? My mouse is still on this product. but this one is not going to give user a very good experience. Do you get it? That's another thing. And that's where that work, the message can be properly put anywhere we like. So instead of using this, let me use a button again. Let me use a button that will, when user click on a button now, oh god, so when the user click on a button, you see, when they click on a button, I want this message to work, to appear now. I want message to appear when they click on a button. Maybe I can put, I can click on, I can add it to this, I can add another button to this place. Arrive, new cow arrival. So this is new cow arrival here. Okay, I can come down here and say what? Button. There's button now. Button now say what? Get what? I call button get new order now. Okay now. So I want to apply CSS rule to this button. Okay, this is the button class. So if I apply the button class, the button here will have a what? A new CSS page now. Okay, so here now. Okay, good. Let me disable the code we first right here on this particular head section. To disable JavaScript code, I just put the double slash here. That's it now. So that JavaScript will not run again. Can you see again now? You can see the button now. So I now want something that when user now click on this button like this, I want button to respond to execute this JavaScript code, which is the one I have here. So what I just need to do now is where the button is somewhere here now. I will now apply the JavaScript code. This time around I will use on click. That is, once you click on the button, system should execute what we call get order now, which is a JavaScript code like this. That's all. Get order now, which is the JavaScript code. So I hope I did not add it to anywhere again. Get order now. Okay. Okay, that's good now. So once I've done this, I can now save this page. You can see this page now. So the moment I say get order now, can you see? Hi, new order for your car not available now. Check back in 2 days. So that is exactly the importance of a JavaScript that you put to the head part of your HTML page here now. So when JavaScript is here, you define a function name for it. Do you get it now? And you can now specify which of the HTML element I want user to use to call that particular JavaScript. This time around now, you have seen me using the button to call that particular code. Also, I also use the table to call it. I also use the image to call it. But it is you we are going to determine which of this particular element is best to call it. Do you get it now? So this showing how the JavaScript can be added to the HTML page. And this JavaScript code we add is referred to as internal JavaScript. So now let's see how to do the external JavaScript and stop there for now. If I'm adding the external JavaScript to my HTML page, the code might be the same thing, but external JavaScript is going to be written on a new file. Just like external CSS, I must save it as .js. And after that again, when I want to refer to the external JavaScript, I must use what we call src to call it. Now I'm going to create another HTML page to do that again. So I will name that HTML page now external. Okay, like here now, I'll say index, I'll now say file, save as, okay, uh external index external .js now. Very good. Index external underscore js. That is it now. So I save this page now. So on this external here now, the same code I'm going to implement, but I want to call external JavaScript. So for me to call external JavaScript, instead of writing my code inside this internal here now, the code is not going to be written inside that particular internal again. So this external JS, let me first change the comment. The code is going to be written in a new file. So I have to create a folder where all my JavaScript will be saving to, just like I create the folder for audio, the CSS, the image and the video. I must create another folder where I'm going to be saving what? The external JS. And here's icon is a new folder. When I click on it, I will now name the folder script. That means all my JavaScript code will be inside this folder. I will now create a fresh JavaScript file inside this folder by click on the first icon that say new file. So I will call that JavaScript code maybe order.js. That's all. Once I press enter key, system open the file. So the same JavaScript code I use for the wall, for the internal here, I will now copy it. Do you get it now? I will now copy it. I will cut it out of here. So because this now become the word, the external JavaScript again. I will paste that code inside this wall here directly. That is it. Inside there directly now. This is where I paste the code at. Do you get it now? So I want the message to show us something like, well, hi, this is the external JavaScript. Hi, this is the external JavaScript now. That is it. So, oh, hi, this is the external JavaScript. So this is the code I want system to return. This is the external JavaScript. So, and I call this one get order now. So I will save this JavaScript here now. The next thing now is how can I reference this external JavaScript in my HTML page? Inside this script tag, after the type attribute, I will now specify src equal to the folder I save the file is scripts. The name of JavaScript there is called what? Order. That's all. This is how I call the JavaScript here now. Can you see now? So once I've done this again, I can save this HTML. But remember that the same button I use to call it is still there again. And the name of the function is still called get what order now. Do you get it now? So and this is the what get order now button on the external JS. So moment I preview this particular page here now, okay, I have to preview it again on the browser. I can now call the what index file. You can see now. So once I click on button now, you see system is calling the external JavaScript again. You get it now? Maybe I want to write another one again. I can return back here again now and add another button like this. I want to add another button like this. So I copy this code and return to the end there. I press enter key. So here's another button again. And this button now, I want to get what? I say get what? Get addition. I want to use it to perform some addition now. And I name this one what? I call it what? I call this okay. So I call this one now sum now. That's the function now. But that means this is going to be another function. I want this function to be external word script again. So I say this HTML page, I will now come to this file which I already had the first function. I will now write another code that I'm going to call get addition. But I start with function keyword, function function get addition. That's the name I'm giving to this function here now. I say function get addition. Return back here, get addition. Open and close bracket. So addition I want to get just to add the two numbers together. I can say var what? Maybe var num1 equal to what? Okay, equal to 5 now. Num1 equal to 6. And I say var what? Num2 now equal to what? 7. Okay. Can I say var what? Num3 now equal to what? Num1 plus what? Num2. Okay. That means I store the this one mean I want to store the first value in this location, second value in this location. I'm now adding the two together. Result go to store in this num3. Then I can now say window dot what? Alert. Window dot alert now. So I can now display the what? The answer by say that what? Addition addition uh, is, so as I say it's like this, I can give something like this column to divide it. I can now say plus, sorry, plus here num3. Can you see now? Num3 is the where I store the result of this. So this plus mean system to join the result I store in this variable, in this num3, with the information I have in this quotation together. So once I save this page and I preview this HTML, you can see this now. So I clicking on this sum again, you can see it still give me the result. So this code is still an external word JavaScript. So this is how the external JavaScript word appear. So apart from using this alert to display information on the external JavaScript, I can use another word instruction again like this to display the same message, but that one can display on the browser instead of pop-up. We use this instruction we call document dot write. So here now, document dot write, I want it to display this information here. System still go to display the same thing. You can see now, document dot write, that is it here now, and this will be semicolon here. Okay, document dot write addition is okay. I don't need this. You can see this one here now. So if I see one document dot write again to display another one message that is just like a LOD, is still possible. You can come down here and say document dot write, this is external JavaScript. So this is external JavaScript now. So like this message I want system to display, and then I save this file again. So once I preview this particular code again, you will see the information not go to display. Can you see now? This information display on this particular page here. Or these are the two different word lines. I mean, there are two different messages on a straight line. I want it on a different line. Good. I can display this one by using some HTML tag again by say h2 now. I open the a2, I can close what the a2 here. Do you get now? And when I save it again, you will notice that this is going to display inside what the h2, and to be very big. Look at it again. Some now. Can you see? So that means I can use the HTML tag inside the word, the JavaScript word like this. It's possible. You get it now? So, and I can use this HTML to make this one too very big again. I just need to put what, this code there, h2 again here. Can you see again? That is for this one again. And after this h3 here now, I will now say plus again, quotation. I'll put the closing tag for the a2 here too by say slash what, h2 again. So it means this addition will go to display in the a2 and the result also in the what, h2. So as I save this page and I click on this button again, can you see? So these are the how we can use JavaScript. These are how we can embed JavaScript in our HTML page, and also to display some information word in word in the JavaScript. So the next class again, we will now move further to how we can be able to start understanding some rule in JavaScript and how to start writing some code to perform some different work tasks. So let's start from here now. So hello sir. Okay. Yeah, I see. So, yes, I'm with you. Okay, I should. Yes, document dot write. Yes, yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, console.log is only using to display the information on the wall on the console screen. You see our browser here, it has a console screen on the command line. Do you get it now? So they only use it to test some data, result of a data, not to put information on your web page. You cannot use the console screen to display information on the wall on a web page like this. Do you get it now? That's why the document dot word dot write is always what use. It's just that you want to tell result of your script code. That's why you use a console.log. If you use console.log, you have to exploit your browser here to to the console screen. Do you get it now? When you come to the to something like more tools, you now look for what we call developer tool like this. It is from there you will see the response of that console. You can see console here now where I point to on the right side. This is where you are going to see the result if you say console. For example here now, but it's not good when you are building a site. If I return back here again like this, and now okay, and now do this, and I say what? Console dot log. You get now? I open the bracket again, and I say num3. Can you see again now? I put a semicolon here now. Okay, maybe I now say that I put quotation like this, quotation like now say answer equal equal quotation again, and now say plus. Can you see now? So answer equal to num3 here. Once I save this page, I won't see the result on the wall on the page like this. When I refresh this page again, let me close this. When I refresh this page now and I click on sum now, you see result is not there. You don't see answer is not displaying. Do you get now? But for you to see that result, you have to come to the console of your browser. And console of browser, you can access it through more tools, developer tools. Can you see where the answer is? Can you see it now? So that is why you're just using a script online to test to train people on how to understand JavaScript. Do you get it now? That is it, not how to use it on a web page. Are you with me now? How people can write a JavaScript and understand it. That's why they use console. But for you to use it on the web page, what we are discussing right here now. So most of your JavaScript output must come on this web page, not on this console. That's why you see the console.log there. So, and that's just the difference between the two. Are you getting it? Okay. Hello, sir. So, yeah. He, he said, okay, okay, no problem. Yes, of course. But the most important one is the first two we discuss here. Okay. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. At any time you want to write a JavaScript code, which which you want the user to click on before you can execute, you must declare that JavaScript code by using function. Remember I said it. If your JavaScript code is going to put on the head section here, you want to put on the head section here, you must define the function for it. This one here is the external JavaScript, and the second one here is the what? Is the internal JavaScript. The internal JavaScript code there, I put it in a function. Function is just to give a name to a set of your JavaScript code. Because when you are writing a JavaScript code, every JavaScript code you write, give it a name. Like as time goes on now, we are going to write JavaScript code for addition. You give it a name, addition, by say function addition. You write JavaScript code for subtraction. You give it a name, subtraction. If you add JavaScript code to what? To display greeting, you give it a name, greeting. For every task you want your JavaScript to do, there must be a name to it by using what? Function. So the code will not be inside that word function. That is why that's how people write what? The JavaScript. We are still going to talk more about this again as time goes on. Okay? But this is just the concept of how you can write a code and put it your HTML. You're welcome. So that's what we are going to do for now. You're welcome. So I will send the video to everybody now. Okay, sir. Good night. Yeah. Okay, good. No problem. No problem.